Alright Zerg friends, it's me, Fenner, from Frenetic Array. And I've finally got another replay cast for you guys, so let's go ahead and introduce these guys real quick. We don't like to mess about on the Fenner YouTube channel. This guy's chrono boosting the probes out like crazy. Let's find out who it is. Alright, it is Jangbi. Really good Protoss player in Brood War. Currently retired though. He did play for Samsung Khan and he did play some StarCraft 2 in Pro League last year, but he has actually retired now, which is kind of unfortunate because I know he's got a lot of fans from Brood War. I didn't watch Brood War, so I don't know too much about his Brood War career, but obviously still a really good player when you've been on a Kesper team practicing like crazy. And down here in the bottom right of the map we have F. David Oranges, which is actually ROOTPetraeus. Yep, ROOTPetraeus, good friend of mine. He always likes to play macro games, and this is why I'm kind of doing this replay cast here, because I can actually get replays from him. And he is actually going for a really weird build with a hatch at the third base and then a hatch at the natural. I'm not sure why he's taking it at the third base before the natural. That's pretty interesting. I guess it's because if this one gets cannon rushed when going 3 hatch before pull, it's not as painful as your natural getting cannon rushed. Because if this gets cannon rushed, like down here, then there's a possibility of cannons blocking the ramp, like drones and lings coming down there. And also it gives them a really good warp-in spot for later in the game, if it goes on later and they start warping in from like 7 gates. But if they take it here, like they start putting cannons down, it's not blocking the ramp. He can just cancel this and stick it over here. So it's a pretty cool decision there for a 3 hatch before pull. Really interesting. I'm actually going to have to ask him about that sometime, probably straight after this replay cast. But he is going hatch gas pull, which is like the greediest build that a Zerg player can possibly do against a Protoss player. And lucky for him, it's going to work out because Gateway Expand with no scout has come from Jangbi, and he's thrown down that Nexus already. And he's also got 2 gas. Now that's the good part about this, because if he was on 1 gas and he came out and scouted it now, it's still possible for him to do like a really fast 4 gate, which could be pretty hard for Petraeus to hold. But as it is, 2 gas means that he can't be aggressive really early, because he's got so much gas that if he tried to go for an early Zealot warp in or something like that, he'd either be floating gas or he would have to go for sentries or something like that. And sentries generally aren't that good on their own, so he would get pretty crushed. And now Petraeus is going to come across the map and scout this. Petraeus actually been getting a lot of viewers on his stream lately, so you guys should go check that out as well. If you subscribe, you do get replay packs, and he's top 100 Korean gem at the minute, which is really good. Like, I think they're some of the best replay packs you can get from top players. Others would be Cats, I guess. I'm not sure how high in Korean GM Cats actually is currently, but I think Petraeus, probably the highest level replay packs you can get if you subscribe to him, so that's really good. So if you're looking for some high level replays and you don't mind paying $5 just to get your hands on them and watching an amazing stream at the same time, then definitely go check out Petraeus. Also, he has got speed on the way. This is the great thing about hatch gas pull. You get so many drones and you get the speed really quickly as well, which means that any aggression that comes out, you can defend it really easily. But he has snuck up a couple of gateways here. Oh, wow, that's a lot of gateways. 3 gateways in the main and 2 at the natural. So it's going to be a 5-gate pressure coming from Jangbi. He's still building probes behind this, but this kind of thing is extremely strong. Petraeus sees a move out, but does he know exactly what it is? He does see a pylon right now, and he sees a lot of sentries as well. This is a lot of sentries for this moment in the game. If he was taking a third, he definitely would not have this many sentries. So I think Petraeus knows exactly what's going on now. He's got 2 overlords on the production tab. The Roach Warren is on the way as well, and he's got some really nice creep spread going at his third. 5 roaches on the way. He definitely realizes something is up at this moment, and he's also poking in with this overlord. We're not going in too deep. I'm not sure if he checked the gas of the natural either. Probably will do that at some point, but here come the sentries from Jangbi and a bunch of other units coming through the middle of the map at the same time. A lot of pylons going down for Jangbi, so this is going to be really heavy pressure. And Petraeus sends the lings in there, sees what's going on. He doesn't really need to sack the Overlords, actually. Because there are so many sentries, there's no possibility of any tech coming from Jangbi. If there was like less sentries and more zealots, then it'd be a bit more scarier, but as it is, he's just going to poke into the natural here and see what's going on. He's going to see that there's still no gas, and that will tip him off to keep building more units. 4 drones on the way right now, but I'm sure as soon as that Overlord gets into natural, he's going to start building more units. And here we go, Jangbi moving in. Nice force fields there, picking up a couple of roaches. The queens are coming into the battle as well. They want to look for that mothership call there. But these force fields are really good. The roaches can't really get into the damage that they want to. A couple are trying to sneak around the top there. Guardian shield going off as well. The queens go down. The mothership core is still standing. This is looking really strong for Jangbi. He might be able to push through, but now the force fields have run out. A couple more stalkers warping in at the top, but everything's getting taken down for Petraeus. It's all dying. 5 more roaches on the production tab, 14 more lings, but it's going to be extremely hard for him to build up his unit count once again after losing so many. 7 more roaches on the production tab. Remember, Jangbi is still building probes at this moment, so even if Petraeus holds this, Jangbi's got a pretty nice economy behind it. He's up to full 2-base saturation right now. He's still got the warping pylon. I think he wants to wait for more force fields before he goes any further, because without force fields, a full roach surround can be extremely strong. Petraeus still mixing in drones whilst building roaches. He realizes that Jangbi does have a really nice economy right now, and he doesn't want to commit to the units too heavily, otherwise he will fall behind in the macro game if it goes that way. Now the force fields are back on his sentries. He's looking to be a bit more aggressive, since he will be able to dictate where the positioning in the battle is a lot more, and he's moving down this way right now. I think he realized there's too much creep here for him to go down this way, and that's why he's moved back to the pylon. He's going to look to push in this way as well. So we'll see what he decides to do with his robo facility on the way at the same time. And he's warping in units at home now, so yeah, I think he's given up on the aggression. I think he could have got more damage done there. There's not that many units for Petraeus, but it would be a risk. It would be a risk. There's no recall available on the mothership core. His army isn't massive. It would be a very close battle, and I just don't think he wants to take the risk right now. It looks like he wants to take a 3rd base instead. And Petraeus is desperately trying to drone up. I don't think he's got any vision of this 3rd base, which is gonna hurt him if he doesn't find out, because when you don't know there's a 3rd base up, here we go. The Ling's gonna come in and see it. Great vision from Petraeus here, finding out exactly what's going on from Jangbi, and also taking down that pylon in the middle as well. Nice creep spread. You don't always see this in a ZVP, but with that 3 hatch before pool play, you do get an extra queen out that allows you to do it. Now 4th base coming up for Petraeus, as he does see that 3rd base from Jangbi there. Now Jangbi is following this over the Mortals and Blink. There's no Colossus Bay on the way yet, and there's a lot more gateways as well, so I think behind this 3rd, he is... wait a second. Oh, he has oversaturated. I was going to say he's not oversaturating, but he has. But only a couple of probes. But yeah, I think he's going to follow this up with heavy pressure from his 3 base and try and not let Petraeus up to a really strong army. So he's going to try and push in whilst Petraeus is still teching up. Is Petraeus going to go for those swarm hosts, which is so popular right now? Let's find out. Go on, Petraeus. Petraeus. Build something out of the infestation pit. Do it. Petraeus. Swarm hosts. Alright, so here come the swarm hosts. So yeah, he's going for that swarm host play, which a lot of Zerg players are favouring right now in Pro League, in GSL. A lot of the Koreans like to play it, and the funny thing is, Koreans like to play aggressive swarm hosts. They go swarm hosts into corruptors, and they start pushing across the map, and then they eventually get up into broodlords, and they keep pushing across the map. Whereas foreigners, they like to sit back behind static defense with swarm hosts, get some vipers up, some infestors as well. So it's just a funny little difference in styles between foreigners and Koreans there. Foreigners like to play a lot more passive. But Jangbi is moving into the 3rd base right now. There's a macro hatch which actually limits the space in which Petraeus can attack through, and force fields going down. That's like 2 force fields to block that off. 3 force fields go down, blocks it off, and now Jangbi, this position looks amazing from the swarm host. The locusts are not even going to be able to get past those force fields. I don't see him defending this at all. Jangbi is easily going to be able to take down these hatches, but behind that, Petraeus is still going to be on 3 hatches, so it depends how many units Jangbi loses in this engagement. There's a lot of swarm hosts coming into engagement right now. How many is that so far? Well, actually, it's not too many. Now Jangbi blinking forward at the same time. A lot of damage being done. This is looking nasty for Petraeus, but is there another? Is there an observer? There is an observer somewhere. I can't see it on the screen right now. But I don't think it's killing the swarm host, so I don't think it's in the battle. No, it's coming across the field right now, so it's definitely not in the battle. Swarm hosts trying to do damage where they can, but there's honestly not too many out right now. There's 8 swarm hosts against this huge army from Jangbi, but he is fighting with Locust right now, and that's what Petraeus wants to happen. The observer is coming across the map. Can Petraeus hold? It's not looking good. He needs to save this base. The swarm hosts are still behind. There's so many units out for Jangbi. He's still warping more in. And there's only a couple of roaches. The Locust coming from the back, but they've got a lot of work to do. And now Jangbi's pushing into the natural. Yeah, this is looking horrible for Petraeus. 153 supply for Jangbi, pushing into the natural really hard right now. So many stalkers. And GG from Petraeus. Jangbi, with that 5-gate pressure, just managed to get too far ahead, which allowed him to follow up with an insane Immortal Sentry on the 3rd base there. Counterattack. So this is a really strong way to play in a ZVZ. Even just 2 roaches on a counterattack can force so much from your opponent. Not that they're going to do a lot of damage. That's not the key part of a counterattack. The main thing that you're getting from a counterattack is